I think I'm gonna have to take back what I said in the last review about episode 3 of Clone Wars, because this episode, Unfinished Business, is badass, man. I loved it. It's so much better than the last 3, in my opinion, man. It has everything I was hoping for from the previous 3. This one had Obi-Wan and Mace Windu. It had a big Anakin moment. It had tension with Echo. There's a resolution with them. You know, not that I don't mind cliffhangers, I just thought the past 3 were just a little lackluster with their endings. Like, every time I would get on here, I'd say, well, it's pretty straightforward, only 2 or 3 things happened and that's that. Whereas this thing had a lot more to digest, a lot more for me to sink my teeth into, which is what I wanted from the get-go. At first, I really didn't care that Echo was back. I didn't care about the Bad Batch. I wrote those guys off as just filler characters with absolutely no utility in the story whatsoever. And then this episode happened because it really got me thinking about, okay, well, what's going to happen with Echo now that he's changed, now that he's robotic? You know, he has that computer hacking robot arm now. I can't really imagine him going back to being just a standard ARC trooper in the 501st, but at the same time, I didn't really see him going on with the Republic. And the Bad Batch being somewhat of a misfit group, it kind of leaves the door open for Echo. It gives him a place to fit in, a place for him to belong. So I found that to be actually really satisfying once he joins them towards the end of the episode. So as opposed to yesterday where I'm just like, I'm bored, I don't know what's going on, now I'm kind of seeing the big picture, which is what I was hoping for. And I kind of forgot what it was like to watch Clone Wars on like a weekly basis. I'm used to just binge watching them all really, really fast and being done with it. This is the first time in 10 years that I've done it this way, because I watched season 1 and 2, and I think some of 3 weekly. But, you know, from 4, 5, and 6 on, I've just binge watched them on Netflix or waited until they came out on Blu-ray. So I would get that instant gratification of seeing these arcs start to finish instead of going each week and wondering what's going to happen next. And I know that the next episode, there's one more episode that I have yet to watch where I'm behind, and it has to do with Ahsoka. I'm assuming it's going to be the start of her arc. So I'm going to have to remember from this Bad Batch arc that I need to chill out and just let the story play out and wait until I get to the end, until I make a full judgment as to whether or not I'm completely just bored out of my mind, if it's just not grabbing me or what have you, because once I see the full thing, then I can go back and go, oh, okay, I appreciate that more now. You know what I mean? Oh, and another thing that this episode had, man, Mace Windu cracked me up. He jumps down and says, you know, introduces himself to the droids. I'm Mace Windu, and I've completely dismantled and destroyed over 100,000 of you guys. You might as well just not waste my time. Just give it up. And then Obi-Wan just kind of looks at him like, what are you doing? Why are you, what? And then they just start firing on them. I thought that was good. That was hilarious. And as for Anakin, I can definitely see where he's edging closer and closer to how he is in Revenge of the Sith. You know, it's like with Trench, he starts mouthing off to him and thinking that the Jedi code and Jedi principles are going to apply to Anakin, and Anakin's just going to let him get away with running his mouth. And Anakin's like, nope, I'm going to cut your arms off and I'm going to kill you. Like, there's just, wow. And like the fact that he is on the separatist ship, like in the control room, or, well, I don't know what you'd call that room, but it looks visually exactly like the Invisible Hand, where Anakin and Obi-Wan fight Grievous and the bodyguard droids. And it's just really cool that there's like a visual echo of what's to come. Like, you see we're getting closer to episode 3 with Anakin in that situation. So that was interesting too. But anyhow, like I say, I've got one more episode until I'm completely caught up. I'm going to watch that one tomorrow, and I'll come back and talk about it as well. But what did you guys think of this episode, Unfinished Business, and just the Bad Batch arc as a whole? Let me know, and I'll be back tomorrow to talk about the newest episode with Ahsoka. And thanks again. See ya, and peace out.